The reassignment of DACA is not just another political decision that will make a minute change in the economy. The great dilemma is what it means for individuals who will no longer be protected by the program. Jamila Henriquez, a grad student from Loma Linda University and former DACA recipient who heavily relied on the program, tells of what DACA did for her.
I was able to work a stable job to be able to pay my way through college. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in August 2017 from the University of Utah. If it weren't for DACA, I wouldn't have been able to work and would not have had money to pay for my tuition.
While Jamila did rely heavily on DACA at one point, she is now a permanent resident and no longer faces the threat and uncertainty that most recipients face now that the program has ended. However, her family will be directly affected by the termination of the program. Her two siblings still rely on DACA for work authorization and protection from deportation. Her older sister Jessica is a mother of 3 children, now facing the threat of deportation when her work permit expires. For those of you that don't have a clue what DACA is, it's a program that was created by the Obama administration through executive order. The program protected immigrants from deportation and gave them authorization to work legally in the United States. Eligible individuals included those who were brought to the United States before they turned 16 and younger than 31 years old on June 15 in 2012. Applicants also had to have spotless records and were not considered if they had any criminal history. There are currently about 700,000 DACA recipients that rely on the program. In 2018, the program was ended by President Trump for reasons that are either not backed by any real data or are great exaggerations. The termination of DACA leaves hundreds of thousands of DACA recipients without the ability to work legally in the United States, and in immediate risk of deportation as soon as their permits expire. Popular arguments against DACA were that recipients didn't pay taxes, they drained welfare, they had high crime rates, and that the program was unconstitutional. In regards to the argument that recipients don't pay their taxes, doing some quick research, I found that the Institution on Taxation and Economic Policy did an analysis of one of their reports in 2017 that showed that DACA recipients alone paid $2 billion in taxes, and $11.7 billion when combined with the taxes paid by undocumented immigrants. One of the more popular arguments against DACA is that it is an overreach of presidential power. President Obama used his executive power while in office to initiate the program, and this is where much of the negative attitude towards the program comes from, as expressed by Jeff Sessions when he announced that the Trump administration would be ending the program.
Ending the previous administration's disrespect for the legislative process is an important first step. We are people of compassion and we are people of law. But there is nothing compassionate about the failure to enforce immigration laws. The compassionate thing to do is end the lawlessness, enforce our laws, and if Congress chooses to make changes to those laws, to do so through the process set forth by our founders in a way that advances the interests of the American people.
Jeff Sessions is on the end of the spectrum that can be considered highly conservative. What the Trump administration may consider to be a compassionate action is seen by most as wrong and immoral. However, in the eyes of conservatives who put laws before basic human rights, what the Trump administration did was a heroic action. The more common sentiment towards the termination of DACA is outrage. Author William Finnegan wrote in one of his articles for the New York Times regarding DACA recipients.
They are, in a word, Americans. But 6 months from now, and possibly sooner, they will be losing their work permits, their places in college, their businesses, their legal right to be in this country. They will start living in fear of deportation. The cruelty of it is staggering.
With the discontinuation of DACA will come many torn families, wasted investment in careers and schooling, and deportations that will leave countless individuals lost in countries that are now foreign to them. The immorality of this decision is coupled with the large economic impact that will be seen in decades to come. Current news on DACA has died down and been drowned by the endless barrage of dramatized news pouring out of the White House, leaving 700,000 individuals wondering if Congress will do anything to protect them from deportation. The two opposing opinions about DACA show the current state of polarization in the country. Those who support conservative views feel more empowered to speak out, supporting a constitution that was written over 200 years ago, while individuals who support more liberal views feel that they must make a stand for current science and proven statistics. The tug-of-war for which political party is right and which is wrong is never-ending, and currently dangerously tense. In the midst of this political turmoil sit DACA recipients, who wonder what will happen to them. In the current scenario, their fate has been decided, and deportation is imminent. A nerve-wracking expiration date is stamped on every DACA recipient's work authorization card. The expiration date not only means the end of protection from deportation and the ability to work legally, the expiration date is the day that all progress made for that individual for the past 6 years is completely worthless. My expiration date is September 4th, 2019.